The arm, it's a show day here at the Big A, and Shohei teaches us something pretty much every single time out in terms of adaptability to pitching. Last 3 starts, look at the usage on the fastball decline and increase on that slider, especially last time out. This guy knows what it takes in reading batters and working with his catcher and also adapting to the opposing lineup. So as we welcome my buddies up in the booth, guys, it'll be interesting to see what is in that toolbox today for Shohei Ohtani.
Creativity, Jose. What a great perspective you provide when we watch him work today. Domination is where you get lost if that's all you talk about with Shohei Ohtani. 3-1, a 2.70 ERA in 10 starts. Mike Yastrzemski, Alex Dickerson, Buster Posey, the first 3 he will face. But I think Jose's point is such a good one because the creativity, the ability to freelance for Shohei Ohtani's been unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, when he doesn't have his splitter working, he'll throw his slider more. When he doesn't have his fastball going, he'll go to his cut fastball. He'll use his curveball more, especially when you see how many left-handed batters in it. You might see more uses from the curveball and his slider today.
Well, we're glad to have you with us. Thanks for letting us take you around the ballpark just a little bit. That was fun out there in left field, being so close to the man warming, and all the people that wanted to watch him, simply put, warm up for the game. And the game is now underway with the fastball right down the middle. Strike 1 to Mike Yastrzemski. 339 on base this year, slugging .487. Part of the reason, those 9 home runs. Yastrzemski lifts that one left side. Rendon losing it in the sun completely. He's got some help behind him. Oh, does he have some help behind him?
That is a great play by Jose Iglesias. Right off the bat, he's looking, and Anthony Rendon, and Anthony lost that one right away, shortstop extraordinaire. Jose Iglesias runs it down. You see where he's playing? He's playing on the second base side of the bag, and he's in his normal shortstop position to run that one down. And the angle he took, able to get that first all-important out here for Shohei Ohtani and the Angels. Nice play by Iglesias.
Alex Dickerson is a designated hitter in a game in which the National League team employs a designated hitter and the American League team does not.
That's truly amazing. Every time Shohei Ohtani either steps in the batter's box or on the mound, there's something historic going on during the course of a game.
Slugging just a tick under 400. Alex has 6 home runs on the year. The Giants lead the National League in long balls. As that one dives down and in, split-fingered fastball. We told you about the first 3. Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford are having incredible bounce-back years. Just both incredible seasons. Solano, Steven Duggar, Dubon homered yesterday, and Mike Tuchman, who has had some big defensive plays, bats 9th. First splitter didn't go where he wanted it to. Let's see when we see it again. 92 in and out of the catcher's mitt. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Alex Dickerson. Single at bat last night was 0 for 1. Missed some time. Upper back tightness, ended up missing 12 games. Really hunted and did damage on fastballs last year. Those numbers down now, though. Just 239 on fastballs this year. He's ready for that off-speed pitch. That's a base hit. Splitter, but it wasn't the Shohei splitter. It was up.
Yeah, not a lot of batting average or slugging percentage versus his splitter, but that one stayed upstairs elevated. He made that adjustment. Remember, the first splitter he threw was in the dirt. This one in the strike zone. In the strike zone, the hitter has a better shot and make a good contact against the splitter. By the way, Buster Posey and a number of the Giants batters, especially in this 3 in a row with Posey, Belt, and Crawford, they are all very aggressive on the first pitch. And then you're facing somebody like Shohei Ohtani, you're anticipating a first pitch fastball. So be careful if you're Ohtani against Posey first pitch.
1 of 4, drove in a run last night. Incredible year, as you can see those numbers for Buster. Took last year off as the four-seam fastball sails up and in. 1-0 the count to Posey. Amazing the people that come just to see this man pitch, to see this man hit. And good support for the Giants here today too. Being out amongst the people a bit.
That was really cool down there watching Shohei Ohtani warming up. You realize how big and strong he is. You were right there getting a good view of him warming up in the bullpen. Is normal for Shohei. That first inning is a touch and feel for him. If he's able to survive that first inning like we've seen over the last few times out, smooth sailing from that point. But that first inning, just the feel for his pitches.
So he goes to that pitch. I think you would call the cutter kind of the old dependable. When things start to leave him and he can't trust him, I feel like the cutter brings him back. Is that right?
Yeah, and the separation of speeds of his cutter and his four-seamer, you're talking about anywhere between 10 to 14 miles per hour, but it's still considered a fastball.
There's a look of a slider. You can see the tilt to it. Fastball, upper tier of the strike zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Buster Posey. 17 hits for Posey in his last 13 games. That ran in up under his hands. The count is full. Keep an eye on Dickerson over there at first.
I imagine he will be going. For Gabe Kapler, you're going to have to be creative against Shohei Ohtani as far as trying to score runs, have the runner on the move.
Posey's only struck out 35 times this year. This is one of the best strikeout men in the game on the mound. Elevated, fly ball right. Rengifo toward the foul line. Up against that wall, and he runs out of room. Bring a glove, make a play. Good to have Will Clark at the game. As he gives that baseball away to a youngster. I love that.
Nice play. The thrill.
Baseball shared right away. 3-2 the count. Posey. Twelve pitches for Ohtani. He's put 1 out up there. Low and outside, cut fastball.
My go-tos for Shohei Ohtani to have success today against this Giant lineup with a lot of power. Use a fastball to get ground ball outs. 50.4% ground ball rate this season, and stay creative all game. If one pitch isn't working, go to your other 3 in the arsenal as far as swing and miss pitches, whether it's a split, slider, curveball, or cutter, along with a four-seam fastball.
Brandon Belt, along with Buster, along with Crawford, all bouncing back like they're kids this year. Loads the back leg, hammer. Boy, that was a good one. Really good cut fastball with a late break. That looked completely different than the others.
Belt anticipating a first pitch fastball after a walk. He's looking to jump on that first pitch. He's got a cutter instead.
17 times Belt has been on in his last 8 games. He is on a crazy run right now. 1-1 the count.
Show a 3 ground ball double plays turned behind him this year.
That one is rolled foul. Ran that one in at 94 miles an hour. Ohtani has seen his ground ball rates go up a little bit this year, and his ground outs are above league average. This is a strikeout pitcher. We know that. But league average is 1.03 ground out to air out. He's about 1 1/3. So when it is put in play and it is an out, more and more on the ground, and that's a positive note for Ohtani. Locked up nicely. Tried to get him to chase a split-fingered fastball.
He might have a shot if it's a little bit out over the plate and down, but it was down and in. Big pitch here now for Shohei.
Not overwhelmingly hot today. Temperatures mid-70s. Still working in the sun, Ohtani. After DHing in the game last night. 2-2 under the swing, the slider that time, and down goes Belt. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's an important one, especially because you still have options. 2-2. 3-2, you have to pretty much go after with a fastball. This is a slider with real good late tilt to it. Shohei Ohtani with a big strikeout. See how far out in front belted. Even though he's been swinging the bat well, that's a great spot with a slider.
Ryan Addington, the home plate umpire. Dan Bellino is at first. Jeremy Rehak is out at second base. Doug Eddings is the third base umpire. Again, Addington behind home plate umpiring this Ohtani Gausman game. Here's Brandon Crawford. Fastball, bottom of the strike zone, 0-1 the count.
Crawford had a big game last night. Patient at the plate, worked walk 3 hits.
2015, he had 21 homers in the entire season. He's got 16. It's still June. Huge power year for Brandon Crawford as he chases up.
And you can see that type of swing, the kind of power swing that Crawford has. So fastball down, fastball above the strike zone, both at 94. Does Shohei go with that splitter and trust Kurt Suzuki? If it is bounce, he keeps it in front and get through this inning.
The 0-2 pitch into the dirt. He did not go around. They check with Eddings.
Pretty good splitter. See if he held up. This is how strong he is. He was able to hold up on that swing after dealing with a couple fastballs at 94.
These are 2 pitchers today. Kevin Gausman will be out in a bit that are armed with the most successful split-fingered fastballs in the game.
A lot of strikeouts with those pitches for both of them.
Gausman looks on as Ohtani spins off of that splitter and misses outside. 2-2 the count. 22 pitches here in the first.
It seems like with Shohei in the first inning, you get a feel for his splitter. Just like most pitchers, their feel for the changeup. An all-speed pitch, a feel pitch. What if he goes now with a slider? Feel a real good one to belt to get a swing and miss.
You started at the hands, you let it hit the feet. Suzuki set up outside. Just missed. He did go with the slider. Tried to almost backdoor that pitch.
Tough at bat worker for Crawford here. It was 0-2, now 3-2.
And even if they don't score, this is a win for the Giants in this inning. 23 pitches they have put on the log of Ohtani. Shohei driven toward right field. Into the glove of Rengifo. Hit hard, but it's an out. Traffic on the base pad. Shohei cleans it up. You're out in the sunshine, you're working, and then you just try and catch your breath for a moment. Rengifo, Shohei, Rendon. They need him today. It's Walsh, it's Ward, Iglesias. Suzuki almost exclusively catches Ohtani. Lagares is in center, and Fletch in that 9 slot. Look, how important was that time for you to maybe catch your breath? You had a grinding first inning, Mark Gubicza. You go sit down. You want to kind of unwind a bit. Yes?
Yeah, it's more of a mental thing for you, too. Yeah, I know it's a warm afternoon, but a lot of pitches thrown against the team with the best record in the National League going, and you saw what they did last night in the first inning against Andrew Heaney. But that's been the inning that really at Shohei's had a tough time. An ERA of about 5.40 in the first inning. He was able to survive that. Then you go forward to see what he does here at the plate. Coming up after Rengifo, may take your time getting into that batter's box if you're Rengifo.
Fletch was toweling him down. Splitter, changeup, similar velocity to splitter, a little bit slower in miles per hour.
Yeah, you don't see that often where a pitcher has a splitter and a changeup. Although Shohei initially when he started in MLB, he had a changeup too.
Missed his spot, but got a called strike nonetheless. You could see Buster wanted to elevate that pitch. Last time out, Diamondbacks pitched 8 innings, gave up 2 runs, struck out 6. 97 pitches in 8 innings of work. There's the split-fingered fastball. That's strike 3. and Andrew Baggerly, who does such a great job of covering this team, the Giants. And Gosman actually said yesterday, Gooby, I know this sounds silly, but I'd love to face Shohei. Not that I think I could hit him, but I'd love to see what people see against me with that split-fingered fastball.
It's a little bit different as far as their splitters, how much of a horizontal drop, and we're going to show that a little bit later on in this broadcast. But there's a difference in velocity of the splitter for Gosman as compared to Shohei Ohtani.
Here is Shohei. 0 for 3 with a walk, 3 strikeouts last night. Numbers daunting, though, last 3 weeks of games. Fastball misses away. Major League leader in home runs with 23. And he'd be top 5, by the way, in strikeouts per 9 should he have qualified with starting pitchers. It's incredible. Good take.
It's a time where you might want to sit on a fastball if you're Ohtani, even though with the power, and Gosman knows that. So far this season on a 2-0 calendar, left-handed batter, he's thrown a fastball 70% of the time. Might try to elevate a fastball against Ohtani.
Three and 0 the count.
Green light for Shohei.
You like that,
Yes.
Number 1 on this team in average exit velocity at 94.1. Average. The 3-0, he takes outer part of the plate. 3-1 the count. Ohtani also leads this team in hard hit percentage, 57.4. That's 95 or up, almost 60% of the time off the bat. (3-1). Oh, did he pull the strings on that splitter?
And there's a pretty good separation between his fastball velocity and his splitter. Shohei, when you go back over his last 12 games, he's had 6 walks in 35 plate appearances against right-handed pitching. So he's seeing the baseball well from a right-handed pitcher.
3-2, pulls that one to the right side. He can run, and up the line. They anticipated it nicely. Belt got rid of it to Gosman. 3-1 on the putout.
Let's take a look at our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. The pitching repertoire for Kevin Gosman: 4-seam fastball 50%, splitter at 37%, slider at 7%, changeup just under 6%. You look at that dip in that splitter, it is a big-time drop. And the rotation of that seams as it goes through into the strike zone is the view as a hitter against that splitter. 37% usage of the splitter.
Those splitters are dancing all over here at the Big A on this show day. How about Shohei, the improvement? We talked about the pitch selection, but how about the walks and the control? 26 walks in the first, 36 in the third. Only 3 last 17 innings, and then fastball velocity 87 to 101. And the reason I bring that up, Darren, is because talking to an opponent batting instructor, he goes, guys like this are so tough to prepare for because a fastball could be a BP1 to get a ground ball or 100 up the zone to get you to swing and miss.
And young pitchers that have the confidence to do that, they don't grow on trees. They just don't. And again, his ability, his belief in himself. English certainly is his second language as he continues to work on it. But I think you make a mistake if you think there's a simplicity to Shohei Ohtani and how he views the game and the way in which he approaches it.
Yeah, he's so creative in the batter's box, on the mound, on the bases. Just the adjustments he makes during the course of a game and in a bat, on a pitch.
And against a team like this, you know, it becomes even more valuable. Talking to Kurt Suzuki.
What do we have here, Jose? What happened?
Gooby, this is what happens when you're a two-way player. A true Nitorio right here. Oh, batting gloves. That's right. I'm also a hitter.
Hey, I like to keep anything to distract the hitters is always good for me.
Go figure.
I'm all about that, the distractions.
You know, as I was mentioning, Kurt Suzuki says he'll come in between innings, and then the dugout, you just never know which plan he has in mind because he carves out a plan and wants to apply it immediately. He doesn't like to wait, which is remarkable, as you mentioned there, for a young pitcher.
Donovan Solano is his foe. The count is 1-2, and he waves at a slider down and away. Solano, a strikeout victim.
He's starting to get a lot more strikeouts with his slider of late. He's got 2 already in the game, now 12 on the season.
Is that in part because you're scared of the boogeyman under the bed? I mean, you absolutely are fearful of that splitter, so you're looking down and in.
Yeah, and also it's a field pitch for Shohei. You know, remember, he hadn't pitched really for 2 years coming into this season, so he's using all his pitches, knowing now that the hitters on the other side have got a book on his splitter. They know where his fastball, they know his cutter. Now he mixes in his curveball more and his slider too.
Steven Duggar's having a really good year, and he backs it up even more, ready for a fastball. Look, if you get a fastball and it's near the plate, you are going to be engaged as a hitter. You just are. You
have to against Shohei. You don't want to fall behind 0-1. Numbers against Shohei this year when he's behind in the count, Shohei on the mound, 1-0, 257, slugging 527. When he's ahead of the count 0-1 toward the course of the at-bat, 080 slugging percentage. So you would think hitters are going up there with the mindset, I got to be ready to swing at the first pitch. That might be my best chance. Then I don't have to deal with all those secondary pitches.
You dig deeper, Darren, and look at his hard hit percentage compared to the league. And it's because he does not make a whole lot of mistakes up in the zone, but when he does, that's what guys are ready for. It's above league average.
Only a pair of stolen bases allowed this year, with 2 thrown out. Ruby was sharing that with you earlier, along with those 3 double plays he has rolled up in his career. And it's not a lengthy career at this point, but only 6 overall stolen base attempts in all the innings he's thrown, and only 3 successful.
And that first throw over there was a C move. That was his B move over to first base. He still has the A move, the quicker move, and the shorter arm delivery. Ready just in case.
I've always thought, and you've helped me learn a little bit more in the first few months we've worked together, that long hold, though it freezes the runner, I think it puts lead in the leg of the hitters.
Yeah, it throws everyone's timing off, the base runner, the hitter. And it's not easy to do. It's the hardest thing to do. Going back to different pickoff moves, I would have one you step off, another would be quicker to the plate. It was so hard to hold the baseball for a lot of his pitchers.
Swings and he misses right through the slider. And that's based solely on your energy out there, right?
Yes. I just couldn't hold the baseball. I mentioned before, you just trying any different way to hold it. I just couldn't. Shohei is just, he has such an awareness on the mound. He knows as a base runner, the more difficult one for him to get a good jump as a pitcher that can hold the ball. And he's taking that to the mound against a base runner.
Just off the plate, another slider. 32 pitches for the right-hander. It's sooner or later, if he's going to pitch into the 6th, let's say, heck, even 7th, he needs one of those 8-pitch innings to pull him back to normal.
Yeah, as much as you love strikeouts, and we all love strikeouts, a ground ball and an infielder here would be great. Get 2 outs with 1 pitch. You have a hitter on the defensive. If you make a good pitch, he hits towards the end of the bat, you get a double play.
The 1-2, overthrew it. Elbow dropped underneath that fastball. 2-2 the count. Shohei last time out, 6 innings, 1 run allowed. 78 effective pitches against the Tigers. Prior to that in Arizona, he went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs against the Diamondbacks, striking out 8. 6 or more innings 4 times this year. 3 runs or less, 9 out of 10. Got a commitment, went back to the slider, stays stubborn. I think that's all, sir. You're free to go.
I think he was still in shock how much that slider broke. I don't blame him. He's still looking, where's that split? That's almost a full swing. Hey, did anybody call that? Maybe not. I'll go right back in the batter's box. Nobody will notice me.
It's amazing, guys, from the angle I have here near third baseline is his foot barely gets off the ground, and then he glides right along that slope as low as he can to land on time. And Gooby, how about a 1.2, 1.15 timing from Shohei towards home plate? That's pretty impressive.
And you think about an average one, about 1.35 gives you a chance to successfully steal a base. So,
and even on 1.35, Gooby, you better get a pretty good jump.
Gives Kurt Suzuki a shot if he does decide to go here. And I imagine you would anticipate maybe something all speed first pitch.
Like Dockman with the runner at first. Squares to bunt. Pretty good pitch. Maybe up just a bit. Like a 285 on base. He has walked 20 times. The batting average only 169, so the walks have helped him. It's his glove that helps him most of the time, though. He's a great defender.
He's a top 10 defender in the outfield.
But he's just 10 of his last 72, and he has struck out 24 times in that span. And it's even a bigger struggle for him against righties, hitting right around 100 in his last 50 plus at bats.
Yeah, but at a 2-0 count, you're a much better hitter right away because you can center in on one pitch as compared to 4 or 5 pitches from Shohei Ohtani.
Picked up from the Yankees end of April. 2-1 the count. He's robbed Juan Soto and Albert Pujols of homers this year. Both in close games, both in key moments. Albert's would have tied the game. Soto's in a 1-0 game would have tied it as well, would have been key. Reserved a shutout. Swing and a miss. Spun out front a bit of that cutter. Somehow he took that pitch. That was an excellent pitch, a splitter, missed low.
He's thrown a ton of them. That was one of his better ones, and I'm surprised he didn't get a swing on that one. A little slower pace this afternoon for Shohei on the mound.
Tauchman has worked the count full. Runner will be gone. Time is called. Ohtani with a look of displeasure. It's rare we see that.
Especially when you're called in the middle of your delivery. I can understand why Tauchman wanted to step out. Ohtani holding the baseball for a long time.
Walsh really working over there at first, knowing there's going to be a jump. Runner goes, pitches outside corner. That's strike 3. Shohei struck out the side. Couple of swings and misses and one taking. Donovan Solano, good morning. Mauricio Dubon, good afternoon. And Mike Tauchman, good evening. We'll turn the bed down for you. The way Shohei Ohtani goes about his business in the new modern world of baseball, pitchers will deal with this between innings, and Shohei very peacefully sharing everything he needs to share with the smile on his face. Now he and they can go back to work, and that's how you handle that. As we move along,
his strikeouts today have been with his slider. Keep in mind, coming into the game, 10 strikeouts this season with his slider. He's been very effective the last couple of games where the usage of his slider has increased because the field has been so much better. He can backdoor to go down and in with his slider. my Hyundai key for the game today, going a little Dead Kennedys, pull my strings. And that means using different pitches, those secondary pitches, whether it's a splitter or slider, even this curveball. Get him out in front and get a swing and miss. Shohei Ohtani doing some magic so far.
That's like a 96. I mean, that's an A. That's excellent. Little DK bring back. Well done by you as that one's up and away. 1-0 the count to Mike Yastrzemski. There are certain keys to the game where you get done listening to it and you're really excited. Some maybe not as much. But this one did it for me.
And the need for Shohei to have a huge game today on the mound because he's facing a tough pitcher like Kevin Gausman who doesn't give up a whole lot, so he's going to have to pull the strings to be able to get and put up some zeros and get deep in the game with not a deep as bench as Joe Biden would like, with Justin Upton banged up a little bit now.
It's kind of wild how important he is to this team. I mean, we understand as Gausman looks on that you can't quantify really what he's doing. We can say Babe Ruth 100 times. But this is a different era. That game wasn't even segregated that Babe Ruth played in. This is a different type of baseball. It's a different world in the game, and to do two things and to be dominant.
And playing every day. Every day Shohei is playing.
There you go. With the arm, with the bat.
That OPS is unreal too. 996, 41 extra base hits, swinging the bat.
Just got a piece of it, and I'm not sure if I said it right. The game back then when Babe played was not inclusive of all. That's the best way to say it. And so the chance to do special things was heightened just a bit. And any time, Gooby, we have to go back a century. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Two and two the count, but in our journey back, we love talking about Grandpa and the career that Carl Yastrzemski had. It's always a natural tie-in. As we look back in time, we'll do it again.
A couple sliders and a couple splitters in this at bat. His grandfather won a triple crown with the Red Sox.
Ever have any interactions with him in your times in the big leagues?
Got a chance to say hi to him, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm just a huge baseball fan. Anytime I get to see history like that and just say hi, and when they say hi back, my day is made.
Rolled right side. Walsh stays down. He's got to rush to the bag.
That's a good play by Walsh on a lot of different levels. You're trying to conserve energy for Shohei Ohtani. And going over the base, he's got to expend that a little bit more, covering the bag. He's going to be hitting next inning. But if you're a first baseman, you could feel the ball and take that baseball by yourself and go to the bag. You could save that few extra steps for Shohei Ohtani. You mentioned he's playing every day, pitching and hitting and running. That's huge. That's a great decision by Jared Walsh, who was himself a two-way player at one point.
Well, it was so much fun watching him make that play. We talk about, and because it's factual, that he's out there every day doing something different at first. It's not just a bucket of baseballs and a fongo. Not at all. In other words, it's not false hustle. It's some sort of the game defensively different every single day. In the air, on the ground, working on his throwing as that one is over the outside corner. I think that was fun to watch him make the play. The other angle to me, Gooby, is just how that glove, that first baseman's mitt, hit the ground and didn't come up.
He could react if that baseball jumps up on him, but staying down low was a better play for him, and I still love the fact that he took that play himself at first.
Hey, Gooby, you see how Dickerson loads up with his hands? Watch, his hands really are kind of centered, but there's a lot of wiggle. Can't you off-time that a little easier than somebody that's set already and loading a little later? Watch.
I would think it'd be difficult to be able to stay back on something off speed.
Tried to keep that off-speed pitch fair as he pulls it foul. A cut fastball, actually.
You can see guys trying to just use off the plate to speed him up, but no, because he has to be perfect with his hands on time, not so much his foot. That's why I bring that up, Gooby, because I know Shohei has enough stuff to offset all that stuff and getting enough timing.
Big shift defensively to pull as that one is low. 2-2 the count.
98-mile-an-hour fastball. We noticed over the last number of starts as the game progresses, the fastball velocity picks up when he needs it.
Past the outstretched glove of Rendon and into center field for a base hit. So Dickerson has so far solved Shohei. He's 2 for 2.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good approach against him.
It's that time to load. That's been a key.
That's a great point, Jose. That's the curveball, and that's what you were on with your point. Guys, that's not a bad pitch either, is it?
No, it's down. But if you're trying to go the other way with it, it's a really good swing. It's a good pitch, especially if you get a hitter to try to pull the baseball. It's going to be a routine ground ball at second base. But Dickerson, both at bats. You know, some hitters, no matter who's on the mound, you're going to see the baseball well. And so far, it looks like Dickerson's seeing the ball well against Shohei Ohtani.
Second time through the order is a sweet spot for Ohtani. And we'll see if that's the same today. Gooby talked about seeking comfort in the first inning, and it's been very typical. The second time through the order, though, opponent's 175 batting average, 256 on base, 288 slug. That's a great graphic, by the way, on Buster Posey, isn't it? Had him out front. Cutter. 2 outs. Think of the grind of a catcher, and I know a batting title maybe doesn't get talked about as much these days, but you still had a bunch of hits to win the batting title. And if you're only into on base, you're going to have a great on base if you win the batting title.
I always marveled at him and Joe Mauer, how you can catch.
There you go. That's my point.
And still have the legs to be able to be a consistent hitter like that. It's so hard to do. And you're dealing with pitchers, especially now with Buster Posey, a number of pitchers that throw a lot of pitches in the dirt. You're trying to keep them in front, but still to have the legs in the core to be able to be consistent at the plate, that's remarkable.
Mauer was right on my mind there. I always thought when Mauer was doing what he was doing that there's your MVP. Even though his teammate had big numbers and Morneau, I just thought he's got to get bonus points for catching every day. There's Brandon Belt. That cutter in. Belt liked it but couldn't square it up.
And Shohei knows that Brandon Belt likes to swing at the first pitch. He's had success on the first pitch. So you exploit that with a cut fastball because he's reading fastball out over the plate, then it cuts in on your hands. Allows you to get ahead of the count.
Hit hard. Iglesias races to the bag and he wins that race.
And he's racing to the dugout.
And he flips it over the high screen. It's a souvenir. This game's fun, darn it. All kinds of fun.
On the ground. Looks like he's trying to drive the ball out of the ballpark. Just make that good contact on the ground and force a team that's very, very good defensively to make the play against you.
That one almost knuckled diving at the plate. Here is Shohei Ohtani. He recently announced that he would be taking part in the home run derby. And since then, all 4 hits have been home runs.
Pretty good slugging percentage, don't you think? 1,000 slugging percentage for Shohei. He might have to help himself here at the plate now.
4 strikeouts for Gausman. Shohei grounded out to the right side in the first. Helmet flies off. 0-1.
Don't go to that splitter first pitch to a left-handed batter nearly 40% of the time, 36%. That's what he does first pitch against Shohei. We'll go back a little bit more so to second pitch, 0-1 count. It'll go about 45%.
It's so gutsy if you think about it. And you're going to get a lot of swings because hitters, even though they see that number, Gooby, I mean, you don't want to go 1-0 ever as a pitcher. And a pitch that at times is tough to corral, to throw it that much first pitch.
He hasn't thrown any of those splitters in the strike zone yet. He's starting at the lower third and then the bottom drops out. Difficult to try to bring that up.
1-2. He's thrown in 3 split-fingered fastballs. That's 24 games for Ohtani. He's got 20 walks, and that's very different from the early portion of this season. He was free swinging a bunch, and rarely, if ever, did he take a walk.
Well, that's 4 straight splitters. And what makes it so effective is his 4-seam fastballs in the lower third. So you think, okay, why don't you just let that splitter go? It's never really in the strike zone, but his fastball is at the lower third, so you get more chases that way.
2-2. He stayed stubborn with him, and down goes Ohtani. That's all he saw was a split-fingered fastball. That's 5 strikeouts.
So all the strikeouts this afternoon for Gausman, splitters. All strikeouts for Shohei Ohtani have been on his slider. Gausman, but not a lot of splitters today. Again from Shohei, down to 14%. Last time out, not as many more sliders and cutters, especially his cutter today usage. Coming into this game, though, not a ton of cutters thrown for Shohei, but today it's a good feel for that pitch.
Everyone voting on Ohtani's side of the fence for a swift inning. He's at 56, now 57 pitches. He's got Brandon Crawford, the UCLA alum, Donovan Solano, and Steven Duggar. Crawford lined to right field, hit it firm, hit it really hard back in the first, but it was an out.
What a difference. And take a look at this, our Statcast 3D, the comparison powered by Google Cloud of the difference between the splitter for Gausman and the drop for Ohtani. A little harder for Ohtani. It's 88 as compared to 84, but the horizontal drop, big time difference for Gausman. It drops a lot more, 12.1 inches. It's a late break to it.
Lifted left, pretty well struck. Stayed back as long as he could on a slider that was up out over the plate. Ward is there to make the play.
And I think part of that reason, Darren, why there's a little bit more of a drop in the splitter for Gausman, it's the speed of the pitch. It's that hard 88 to 90 splitter. It doesn't have as much time to drop down there. That's why it's a little bit less for Ohtani, but just as effective. Gausman is getting there and is dropping a significant difference between his velocity on his fastball and his splitter.
It's an interesting evolution for Gausman. He had that Vulcan changeup when he was signed, and he'll tell you that's one of the reasons I got drafted so high. He evolves into splitting the middle fingers to splitting the index and the ring finger. Very interesting, the evolution of a pitcher. In other words, you're splitting here, then you're splitting here, then change up. It's strong manipulation of the baseball is what it is. Like he does. I mean, if you're throwing a cutter and a splitter, then a slider. What we haven't seen, or at least you might tell me, not many curveballs. Those are in the 70s from Shohei. Out to third, pass to diving Rendon, base hit on a slider for Donovan Solano. Donovan was 1 for 4, struck out 3 times last night.
A little bit more of the plate on this slider. And Solano, after a tough one and a strikeout at first at bat. That went by Rendon.
Good speed in Duggar. Will be a tough man if there is one on the ground to double up. Singled back in the second inning. Shohei with the cutter ran it right in. And an awkward swing. Like a lot of people moving from 2020 to 2021, perfect for Duggar, as you can see those numbers. Steven, you're not alone. We all were excited to turn the calendar. Good fastball. And again, Shohei let him know. None too pleased about that call. A little bit more emotion being shown today. Frustrated with the step out as he was winding up earlier.
He knows how important he is for this team to be able to win this game against the Giants, both on the mound and in the batter's box. So you got that energy level even higher.
Bouncing ball out towards short. You had better hurry. Fletch fires it. Not in time.
Well, I'll tell you what, they did everything possible to be able to turn that. Duggar's only rolled into 2 double plays. And you would think off the bat you have a shot. But Iglesias and Fletcher did everything well as far as the transfer and how quick they were. Gets it out, how quick that is out of the glove. Same thing for Fletch. I just love watching Iglesias, how quick he gets that baseball out of his glove on the transfer. And the stretch for Walsh trying to get that baseball out in front. They have a better shot at turning a double play. Got to believe Duggar is going to take a shot. See if Shohei can hold it and maybe quick throw to first.
Into the dirt. He doesn't have to steal it. That's a wild pitch. He's in scoring position. Tani rushing to the plate. Ended up being his own enemy that time.
It's a 6th wild pitch this year for Shohei.
We always talk about blocking the fastball. You can't. You can hope to stop it, but you can block a breaking ball, but a fastball you
all
don't.
you can do is almost like you're a hockey goalie on a slap shot. You just hope that that glove is quick enough to be able to catch it, because you're not going to be able to get your body over in front, because you're not expecting that ball to be thrown in the dirt.
Ian Gerald Young, very proud to be natives of Honduras. Dubon homered yesterday. Was 2 for 4, had a couple of hits. One and one the count. Mauricio so important to these Giants, and the modern player that can do this. He'll play short, he'll play center, he'll play second or third. 153 total chances, just 3 miscues defensively when you're all over the field.
And a really good throwing arm no matter where Gabe Kapler puts him.
We talked about it earlier. Shohei certainly more deliberate in this game. One and two the count with the slider.
Yeah, so far in these last 2 pitches, cutter upstairs and followed by a slider. Separation of about 7-8 miles per hour. See if we get to chase something out of the strike zone. As an infielder, you got to keep this baseball in front of you no matter what. You got to get that uniform dirty. If it's hit on the ground, not right at you.
The 1-2. Just missed the inside corner. Overthrew it just a little bit, and it still almost got there. Shohei can get back in the dugout. It's 5, 6, and 7 in the order due up. He can get a little bit of rest and hydration. not that he wouldn't love to hit in the next half inning. That means things are going well. 2-2. Fastball, 97 miles an hour. That's strike 3. Ohtani with a blazing heater. Number 17, go find some shade. We'll see you hitting soon. That's a season high for Ohtani, but that was a heavy energy inning for him as far as expending energy.
Yeah, he threw some good fastballs. You're talking 98 and 99. It gets a good fastball hitter, Brandon Belt, to swing and miss, and then a good splitter there from Shohei to get Crawford, who had 2 pretty good swings against him, even though nothing to show for it. So using all that energy to get through the inning, more than likely, hopefully the offense can score some runs. It's been a while since the Angels have scored some runs here. Need to get that crooked number working here.
Wise decision for the man who's pitching. That's how when you're the starting pitcher, you get ready in the on-deck circle. Two and 0 the count. Gooby, I'm peeking out at the bullpen. No one's throwing.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going back out there. Bullpen will get up as he goes back onto the mound.
9-1.
Well, you talk about flying around the bases. Renhefo, he said, you know what? I don't need to be on base. I need to run around the bases and tie it up. Second home run for Renhefo. That day game carry here. I thought off the bat, he needed Yastrzemski going back when he thought he was tracking it. That ball just kept drifting. Nice job as far as bringing those hands up and through the baseball. And it kept going and going. And out of here to tie it up at 1. Seventh home run allowed by Gausman this year. That surprised everybody that got out.
Here's Shohei.
By the way, a launch angle 42 degrees on that one for Luis Renhefo. I'll provide that offense for you, Shohei. I'll tie it up with 1 swing of the bat. So both pitchers have been dealing, give up solo shots in the 5th.
42 degrees. That's like the dive on Incredicoaster when you're over there at the park. Holy cow. Shohei, beautiful pitch. 1-1 the count. Whew. They scored a run.
It's been a while.
Of all people, too. You and I talked between commercials. It's kind of been selling out for homers. All right, keep selling. Ohtani skies that one. The Giants will give it a look. It's about 5 rows deep.
Goes 383 feet at launch angle, 102.7 miles per hour. How quick he had to be to bring his hands up and launch that baseball out. Luis Renhefo.
Day game at the yard. Love it. Love it if you're a hitter. But that kind of carry, that's why you got to give more credit to Gausman and Shohei for how they pitched today. The ball, she is a carrying.
Good take. Really good take on a splitter. Pretty good chance he's going to see another splitter here. And he made 1 mistake with a splitter to Lagares. That stayed in the strike zone. Hopefully Shohei will get one of those splitters in the zone.
He waves over the top of a split-fingered fastball. Ohtani will go back to work on the mound, and he'll do so with a tie game. Luis Renhefo has been swinging for the downs all afternoon. You know what? Oh, baby, it paid off. Hitters waking up in the night with a cold sweat because of what they're dealing with. Kevin Gausman, Shohei Ohtani have combined to strike out 15. They have only walked 3 between the two of them. Ohtani chasing 100 pitches. That's the matchup.
Just like we anticipated coming into this game, secondary pitches, the forefront for both Shohei Ohtani and Kevin Gausman. It's a big inning, big batter here for Shohei to build some momentum. That was a tough half inning he was on the mound last time. And Gausman gives up the home run to Luis Rengifo to tie it up at 1.
Yeah, this decision here based on matchup more than anything. Watching Matt Wise, Jose Molina, Gallego, and Joe Madden.
Well, and the matchup worked. It's a first pitch fly ball right field. Rengifo, who has homered, retires Donovan Solano.
Boy, you love those quick outs. That's what you need. A little breather there for Shohei Ohtani. It's a great battle here today.
It was interesting. Shohei had his back shoved against the wall just a little bit last inning, and he punched his way right out of it. And like that cornered animal, he did what he needed to do, and all of a sudden instincts kicked in and everything got better. Everything got more firm. It was wake up time. Steven Duggar takes a fastball at 96. So last 2 outs, when you look at what Shohei was able to do, Gooby, it's just straight heat.
Yeah, you're talking 99-mile-an-hour fastball, and then the splitter, that one just at 90 miles an hour. The average splitter is about 86. I still think that going back to that splitter, he threw a high fastball to pitch before. He got on top of the baseball very effectively. Well, he slowed down on his delivery of his slider on that one. He's kind of guided it in there.
Mike Myers warming in the pen pretty swiftly. Duggar is singled and reached on a fielder's choice. Three and 0 the count.
Every once in a while you'll see this for Shohei where he just kind of loses the feel and the feel for the strike zone. 3 in a row, missing by quite a bit.
If he loses his hitter, do you think that's all?
I think yes, I do. Even though we all want him to stay in there and to keep battling, but they're missing by quite a bit. These 3 pitches in a row.
Little roller. Suzuki, Shohei both chase that baseball. It's the veteran that makes the play.
Swinging 3-0. You love that. So you get a 1 pitch out and you get a 3-0 swing, little slow roller for the second out.
Well, if he's able to throw up a 1-2-3 inning, I look forward to seeing this crowd react to him.
Nice play by Suzuki, under control. A good throw to first base. So you have a hitter in the plate here with power, and you know he's up there hacking first pitch. He did that last night, so you got to be careful.
Breaking ball dives down and away. A slider, 1-0 the count. It feels like at over 100 pitches now. He's right at 100. That any base runner at all ends the day. Awkward swing, slider, and he backed off on that one.
Yeah, and he tried to stay back on that when you see how he was flying open, but he tried to keep his hands back. He was trying to hook that down in the corner.
Kind of looked like the swing in that Bugs Bunny cartoon that we talk about. He did everything he could, but he couldn't. 1-1 the count to Bond.
Good pitch, 95. Shohei. See the fans get up here now knowing this could be the last pitch of the afternoon for Shohei Ohtani. A great outing today.
One ball, 2 strikes to count. Shohei, they were on the same page right away. Gives him a hammer splitter outside.
It's a 90-mile-an-hour splitter. Shohei's going to save his best pitch of the afternoon right here.
The 2-2 pitch. Outside, got around that slider that time. The 3-2 from Ohtani. Got him!
I love that reaction.
Top tier play, Gooby. This is all you.
I love this emotion for Shohei Ohtani. He knew he saved the best pitch for last, and that emotion going off the field. 9th strikeout of the afternoon for Shohei Ohtani. This one run allowed that home run by Yastrzemski. And a handshake from Joe Madden. How special a player Shohei Ohtani is. He battled all the way through. This is a very good offense for San Francisco. Love to see the offense pick up Shohei here to put him in position to pick up a W. It wasn't easy. It was a battle today for Ohtani. But these are the ones, for me, as you grow as a pitcher, these are the ones that feel more special for you, because maybe you don't have a pitch working at certain points during the game, but you've developed other pitches to get through a very good deep lineup like San Francisco.
This is how an ace pitches, let alone the whole slugger part of it. I don't even know where to go with that, but Jose, you were pretty close when Joe Madden and Shohei Ohtani exchanged words. What were your thoughts?
The best thing is it was Joe Madden getting more feedback than anything else, so it wasn't so much about Joe talking, but having Shohei express himself and communicate. And Gooby, time after time since spring training, this is what Joe has loved the most about Shohei this season, just being able to open that line of communication. And Joe has always says, I learn something from Shohei every single time, but what he gives me in terms of feedback.
Like as far as where you put him in the lineup, if you're going to give him a day off, you're going to give him a breather, you put him in the lineup when he's pitching that day, and that communication allows him to succeed at the highest level.
You talk about pitches
pitched and strikeouts. It's amazing what he's been doing.
You think about also pacing himself, Gooby, not having to.
Join us Monday, July 5th, as the Angels take on the Red Sox at 6:30. The first 14,000 fans receive an Ohtani pillow, courtesy of Gung Ho. Online entertainment for more on the Ohtani pillow. Angels.com/promotions. The Ohtani pillow. Perfect chance to go night-night. You got to come. You got to come. The Ohtani pillow. Who doesn't want this? You know.